This lecture. My name is Retabile Kepa. They call me Tabi. That's what I go by. I am Rise's new project coordinator. We've had, I think, about a 2-month break from the monthly lectures and the film series, but we've been doing a lot of amazing work during that time. We've just kicked off the 2019 in loco fellowship program. We have some of our fellows joining us today. They are all alum of either the Rotoli Polytechnique, of Limkom Queen, or of the National University of Lesotho. They are working on an amazing project. Our In Loco Fellowship is an amazing project where we use young graduates from local institutions, mostly in the built environment, to work on community projects and social enterprises. So currently we are working with an amazing organization known as IDAL, the Intellectual Disabilities and Autism Lesotho. They've just given us the green light. They've just green lighted our designs, and currently some of us are on site, preparing site for construction of our beautiful multi-purpose center to be launched next year in February. So I don't want to take too much time, but that was just an update of what we've been doing since we've disappeared. I hope most of you follow us on the social platforms. We are Rise on Facebook, we are Rise International on Twitter, we are Rise on Instagram. So follow us, like our posts, comment. We love to engage with you guys. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest. She's a friend of Rise, who's come all the way from Italy. It's her first time in Africa, so we're very, very happy that she chose Lesotho and Basotho for her first visit. She even spent her recent birthday here 2 days ago. She is an amazing Italian architect. She's a holistic architecture enthusiast and specialist, and she's also an interior designer and a furniture designer. She will say the rest. I don't want to mess up her bio, but she is Clarissa Orsini. So if you can just give her a big round of applause and a wonderful.
Hello everybody, thank you for hosting me here. I'm very happy to be here, and it's my first time in Africa actually, so it's everything new for me. I didn't know what to talk about during the lecture because I didn't know anything about this country, so I thought that could be nice for you to see something different. So my work in Italy, I have my own office. Actually, I tried to work to other offices, but at the end with this profession, it's easier to find your clients and to find your own way to do this job because you have a lot of different options. And well, I think that to be a good architect, you need to know a lot of different stuff to be able to reach your clients in different way. So it could be with the furniture, could be with the interior project, could be with big projects if you have a chance to do it. But you need to be very aware of what the client needs, because this is the most important things that for us, for our job, that helps us to reach the goal that we want. So the guy that should switch my slide is not here, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the house that I recently finished in the Como Lake, that it's really close to Milan, it's north of Italy. The picture on the left is how it was, and the picture on the right is how it is now. And was basically an interior project because they bought this house that was a really quite new because it was from the 50s, but they wanted to have an old house. So basically the work that we've been done there was to use different materials in the interior to show a quite old house, using right materials to do that. So let's go where these are the floor plans and the first floor plan. It's a 4-bedroom house with the big, this part, it's the ones that facing the outdoor. So we have the kitchen and the living room and then the study, and well, they wanted a house to get all there, so with all the comfort that they needed. And this is something from the inside. As you see, the floor, for example, it's an old floor, but it wasn't there. So we needed to find the right buyers to get the real old floors, not the remake. So this was the big challenge for this project, try to find the really old materials and not just the remake ones. And in Italy it's not very easy because we have a lot of new materials that seem old but actually are new. So that was a big... This is the bathroom. Well, let's go on quickly with this. This is the kitchen, and again with the floor, that for them was really important because they used to have a house there and then the house burned, so they wanted to reproduce a bit the same idea. This is another project that I did in Milan that was as only interior, and it's a small house with furniture, fixed furniture inside, and the budget was not very big, so the challenge for this one was to realize which one was the priority for the house. They couldn't change everything, so we did the first BOQ with all the work that we could have been done there, and then they start realizing what they wanted more. And so this is the place. The wall that you see with the stairs and all the library was something that I really wanted, so we designed it properly, and all the rest it's basically how it was before, except of the bathroom that you can see on the bottom right, that it's a really big bath that they also wanted a lot. So they choose, for example, they choose to do the bathroom instead of redo the floor. They didn't like the floor either, but between the two things, the cost was almost the same, so they chose the bathroom and they left the floor as it was. Well, this is the exterior, and this is the picture that you see over there is the bedroom. And because the windows are really small, we try to keep the light in the bedroom using, instead of a bricks wall, just a glass wall. So they have curtains, so they can close actually the bedroom, but if they want light in there, it's just glass. So it's really, there is a lot of light, and that's it. Then we pass through the furniture, because another important thing is actually you gain much more money doing furniture instead of doing projects, because you need less time, and if someone asks you to design a furniture, they are actually, they want it a lot, otherwise they would have buy somewhere else. So they are more happy to spend money for something that they really want as they have it in mind. So this is, for example, a study for a person that was giving up his job, and he needed a room where he could work very well. And so we designed this library with the lights, with all the comfort that he needed, as the printer, but he didn't want to see the printer, so there is a drawer over there with the printer hide there. A lot of details, as you can see. Well, it's very simple, but inside there you can't see quite anything looking at it, but inside there are all the technological stuff and the stuff that he needed. And that's it. And this is also a nice furniture that it's a box for jewelry, but very big. This is a woman that has a lot of jewelry, and he wanted like the small box that you have when you are a child and you put all your small stuff in it, but she wanted bigger. So we did this drawer that slide on the side, and you can't realize that our drawer, because if you see there is just a cut, and you don't realize that you can open it this way. So it was like a magic box, basically. And she was really happy, and now it's full of stuff in there. I should have done a picture about it. And this is another completely different object. It is a desk, But as you can see, it's a completely different approach respect to the other one. This is very minimalistical object. And that's why I'm saying that the client, it's really important. It's not, if you design something, you're not designing for you. So maybe you are designing something that you would never put in your house, but for the client, it's really important that you are able to understand what they really want. So you need to be able to change your, what you like and putting in your mind what the clients like. So this was a young boy, he wanted very minimalistic stuff, and as you can see, this is the, and he wanted also to recycle something, so the ones over there was a beam of the trash, and we use it for the desk, yes. That was nice. And this is another thing again, this is an exhibition that we did for a bike collection. We did a lot of projects for this bike collection, and at the end we ended up doing a small exhibition, and the only thing that we had to do was to design a prototype of a thing where you can put every bicycle that they had in the collection. So we designed a lot of different shapes. At the end, the circle was the one that works better with bicycle generally. So as you can see in the next picture, you have a lot of bikes, and the shape is always the same, but the dimension of the bike, you put it upper or lower, and at the end you have a lot of objects that are the same, but when the subject is inside, that it's, in this case is the bicycle, it changes a bit because, yeah, that's it. And then you have to be able to do just proposal. To don't be too proud of your job saying, I have to build it. Maybe sometimes it happens that you just have to propose something and they don't have money, they don't have enough time, you're not the right person to do it, but you need to put the same effort doing proposal as you would put to do a certain job. So this is a co-work in Athens that of course we didn't build, but they wanted to open a center for different discipline and different young people moving around Athens, and in this moment is trying to get over the crisis, so they wanted to put money in there. And well, these are just drawings. The space was really nice. There were a tree in the middle, so we basically designed all the space trying to focus always the tree, so while you are working you can have this connection with the nature and find a nice space to stay there. And that's just plants and stuff. And what is this one? Sorry, I can't see it. Okay, this is another proposal for a loft. We had a client that wanted to sell this loft, but he wanted to sell as a home. He wanted to, for the person that wanted to buy it, to see how it could have been with the right furniture and the right design inside. So we did just some plans to make them understand how the place could have been with some adjustments. And well, and this is a community center, a competition for a community center that we did in Nepal. This was a completely different project because was like the project that we are doing here with just recycled materials, very careful for the nature, for the landscape, and for the water, energy. We had to be very careful of all this stuff, so we tried to do a project following these are all the schemes, how the structure should work. So with the water treatment, the space, how to treat the space, which one was the wall that needed to be very big for the temperature, and well, yes. And the shape of the building is the one that you see next. It's following the shape of the earth, of the terrain, and there is a section that explain all the specific details that they needed. Thank you. All the detail that they needed to build it. There was a built-in kitchen, and there was tires for the wall to prevent the humidity of the earth, the treatment of water, black water and white water, and yeah, we didn't win the competition, but it was a really nice effort for us that are not very used to this kind of project to challenge ourselves also in something completely different. There was a patio. All the structure were supposed to look at the inside patio, and that part in front was to give them the chance to build something else in the future, so build other patios around it, and at the end find a way to build a small community up to the village in Nepal. And well, the last one is not very interesting actually, because it's an old train station that it's abandoned now, and we tried with the same bike collection of the exposition before, we tried to do a museum there, but they didn't have enough money to do it, so we just drew some plans and we put function in there to make them realize how many square meters they needed to do that. And when they realized it, it was too much, so we just left them the project, and yes. So now we come to the topic of the lecture. As I was saying, to be a really good architect, you need to be very good in a lot. You need to know a lot of stuff, and then you have to be really good in something to build yourself and to be more awareness of your own ability. So Vastu Shastra and Feng Shui are two very, very ancient science of architecture. Vastu Shastra comes from India, and Feng Shui comes from Japan. And they are an holistic approach to architecture. It means that they want a really nice house, but more than really nice, it needs to be a place where people can enjoy life and be healthy and joyful. And so they tried to study how is the better way to achieve this goal. And they starting realizing that the directions, north, south, west, east, are very strong as energy in the earth. So yeah, that's Vastu Shastra. Vastu means house with a plot of land. So for this country it's very actually easy to apply it, because when you buy a house, actually you buy a plot of land and then you build on it the house. And Shastra means teaching. So basically it's a theory that teaches you how to build your own house in your own plot of land. Either Feng Shui, it means water and wind. So that are two invisible forces. For Feng Shui, it's very important the balance of energy between you and the universe and the earth. So the wind and the water are two opposite and invisible forces, because of course you can't actually feel them. I mean, yes, you can feel the water, but you have no idea about the energy of the water. But they are very powerful as balance of energies, generally speaking. So the most important things are the direction and the 5 elements that are earth, water, fire, wood or air are the same, but for Vastu Shastra is air and for Feng Shui is wood. And same for metal and space. I don't know why they choose to use different elements, but at the end the output is the same for all of them. And the most important is the earth. And you have, for all the elements, you have a color and the shape. And then you have all the, how can I say, the important things that an element does to the energy of the world. So the earth is very important, for example, for the community. I mean, this is something that you have to trust. You can't know exactly why the earth is important for the food and not for the drink. We can't know that. Our past and grandfathers probably knew it, but for us now it's just something that you can trust or don't. And actually, if you try, you realize that a lot of this stuff are true. So we have water, same, it's very important. Of course, we have a lot of water in our body, and there is a lot of water in the earth. And the color is black because it's the opposite of his color. And has a lot of reflection on personal, relaxed self-care and this kind of stuff. Then we have fire, that it's related to creativity, to our soul, of course, light, and the direction is south, because south, of course, it's the hottest part, so fire is south. And wood and hair, the same, are related to travel, business, invention. The color is green, and the shape, it's a rectangular. The important things of all these elements, okay, and also the metal, we have the organization, the investment, the finances. All of these stuff that I wrote here are really important to understand in how you have to orientate your own place. Because if you want to have a good, for example, if you're doing a project of an office, and the north means career, of course your office needs to be very concentrate in that direction, because you want to put energy on career. If you can't do that, because sometimes you are in a position where you can't exactly choose in which direction you have to put stuff, you can help the project with the color and the shape. That's why I put them there. The color, the shape, and the material. So if the north is water and it's career, but I have to put it on metal, I need to have some water in there and some black things in there. So I'm going to balance again the energies working in the room. So here there is a summary of the things that we did. So even for the West is creativity and kids. So probably if you have kids, it's good to if you are doing a project with where there are kids in a house, it's good to put their room in West. But if you have to put it East, well, West is metal, so you're gonna maybe do a furniture in metal, and it's gonna balance again the energy of the room. So you always have a choice to how to do it. But if you are aware of all of this, and then you try to sleep in a room that is good for you, or in one that is not, trust me, you are gonna feel it. You have to take into consideration it's the circle of creation and circle of distraction. Distraction, yes, that you can see in the next slide. Yes, this one. So the circle outside is the one that creates stuff. So in a house, you should move around from north to south circularly. If you have to cross and you have to switch functions, it's good not to do something like this. I mean, if you can't put a room where is fire, it's better not to put it where is water, because they are really, really the opposites. So it's difficult to balance the energy of these two things. So you can choose to balance it if you're not able to put it in the right direction, but make sure that you don't balance it exactly with the opposite element that you have, because otherwise the balance becomes very, very difficult. And the ideal shape for the house building with these ideas is the rectangular shape or the square shape. because with the square shape you can have all the direction in one. All the direction in the same space. If you have a triangular shape, it becomes very difficult to fill everything in. If you have a rectangular shape, it's easier. And this is the grid that actually is the one that helps you to do the project. This is the one for Vastu, and then we have the other one for Feng Shui, but basically are the same. So let's go 1 second to the last one, next one. Okay. So when you do a project, you just take a plant and you put the grid on, as you can see here. So here you have all sorry, one thing I forgot, the direction that you take, to understand in which direction you have to put things, you have to stand in the center of the house. So when you are in the center, you think, where is north exactly? And then you put the grid on. And when you have the grid on, let's go back to the other. Here, you put the real grid, you have your grid design on the plant, and then you put this one on, and you see where you have to, where it's better to put something instead of something else. It's difficult to explain to a client something like this because you need someone that just trusts you, because it's difficult also for me to explain to you, and generally are things that in our culture are not very common in this moment. It has been very common, built like this. In India, half of the country is built this way, but now it's becoming more complicated, at least in the west part of the world, trying to explain that it's not very important to have an amazing house, very technological and whatever, but this is much more important because you're gonna feel well, and it's also for your health care, for your career, for your kids, for everything that is in your life. But if someone trusts you, they can feel the difference. And I went to London to do a course of all of these because in Milan or in Italy it's not very common, and I'm trying to work on it to make people aware that it's go a bit back in the past and keep with us the thing that our grandfathers did in the past. Could be very nice, but no, not everybody can understand it. And well, here there is my email, so if you have questions or stuff you want to go deeply, you can write me whatever you want. And the things that it's missing completely here is the interaction between the person and the house. So all the grid and all their stuff are for a house for everybody, so they worked for everybody. But if you know who is your client, you need to ask him the date of birth and all his stuff, and knew which one is his element, because then the element is gonna affect the house. So if he's wood and the house is his home, his bedroom is in the direction of wood, maybe the wood is too much, so you have to balance again. I mean, it's a really complicated word. I just wanted to do a very briefly idea, give you a briefly idea of what it is, so maybe if you are interested, or you can go deeply with me or with yourself, with the internet, there are a lot of information if you know what to looking for. So thank you very much. If you have questions, of course, I'm